In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys the exact meal prep I do to fuel my body and be energized for the week. Everything is high protein, low calorie, and low cost. So I hope you enjoy the recipes and the video. I am going to get most of what I need for my meal prep later today, but at the same time, I do have a lot of stuff already at my house. All right, thankfully, the egg prices have gone back down a little bit. For the past few months, it's been $2.72 for eggs, but right now it's $2.33, so that's a little bit better, and I do need some today. Always make sure that you check your eggs before you buy them. You don't want half of your carton to be broken, or even one egg to be broken, because like I said, the price is just crazy. Okay, usually I like to go for the $6 steaks at ALDI, but at the same time, if I just get one that's $9, it's just gonna be bigger and I can use it for more things, or at least have a bigger quantity in what I make. I'm gonna get this. I'll show you guys better when I'm actually at home, but that seems like a pretty good deal to me. I just hope the chicken isn't dry or anything like that. I think I just have 2 or 3 things more to get, and I'm gonna stop recording because I feel like I need to lock in. So I'll talk to you guys when I get home. I'm back home now. I'm gonna do a little haul. Everything in total was $42.18. So firstly, I got this huge pack of chicken, and literally, I don't even know how many is in here because it says varied servings per container. But it was only $10 for this huge bag, so I thought that was a pretty good deal. But per serving, it has 100 calories and 19 grams of protein. Next up, I got Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt. It has so much protein in it. There's quite a few different recipes you can do with plain Greek yogurt, and if you don't like the taste of it being plain, you can add honey or any other sweeteners that you'd want to add. But yeah, I do get it for the protein. It has 90 calories and 16 grams of protein per serving. Next up, I got a little garden salad and a little shredded lettuce to make a chicken salad. The shredded lettuce has 10 calories per serving with 1 gram of protein, and the garden salad has 15 calories with 1 gram of protein as well. This was $3.19. This was $2.09, $1.89. Okay, next up here I have a steak, and I always get my steaks from ALDI. This one was $9.17, as you can see right here. It's 180 calories, 23 grams of protein per serving. Next up, I got a carton of eggs, and this was $2.33, like I told you guys, in the store, and obviously it comes with a dozen eggs. The facts for eggs is 75 calories for 6 grams of protein, but it obviously varies per the size of egg and things like that. And then I got 2 Celsiuses. These are 10 calories each and 0 grams of protein. They're only $2 at ALDI, which is pretty good. And then I got this can of olives for the chicken salad. I believe this was $1.89, and it only has 30 calories with 0 grams of protein. Then I got this shredded Parmesan cheese, and this is really good. I love this ALDI brand of Parmesan cheese. It has 110 calories and 9 grams of protein, which is not bad. A can of pineapple slices, 90 calories and 1 gram of protein. This was $1.59. This was $2.79. And then last but not least, I have a bag of 6 avocados. This was $2.99. But yeah, that's everything I got from ALDI, and I will catch you guys when I'm ready to meal prep in a little bit. Okay guys, so I never really talked about it in the video, but for breakfast, I'm going to be making overnight oats. For lunch, I'm going to be making chicken salad, and then dinner is going to be steak and potatoes type of thing. So I started off by cooking the chicken. So you can see here I'm lining a pan with Reynolds wrap, and I have my chicken. Don't forget to wash your chicken and your meats before you start cooking them. So I'm laying all of that on the tray, and then I'm going to season them. And this is just the way I like to do it. I honestly didn't watch a tutorial for any of this, and I'm not a chef. So yeah, this is just how I'm going to be doing things today. And I'm going to put seasonings. All the seasonings that I put are on the screen. I will say that one seasoning that I feel like is underrated is curry, because my family uses curry when we make chicken, and I think it tastes so good. So next time you make chicken, if you want to add curry on it, unless that's already a popular seasoning, I don't know. I haven't seen in the past a lot of people use it, and it's really good. And another thing that I do is use a lot of oil, spray oil on it, because I don't want the chicken to be dry, and I'm not afraid of a little avocado oil on my chicken. So that's why I douse the chicken with that. Just make sure that if you're doing the same thing, that you count the macros for the oil as well. You'll try to come back when you faint. I always want the truth, but it's that. And then I put the chicken into the oven for 50-ish minutes at 350 degrees, but I just followed the instructions that they had on the bag. And then while that was cooking, I decided to start on the actual salad portions. This was a Monday, so I was meal prepping for Tuesday to Friday, which is why I have 4 bowls here. And I just used a mixture of the shredded lettuce and the garden salad bags that I had gotten from ALDI, and just did like a half and half and just kind of eyeballed them to equality. And I didn't really like measure this part out. And for the calculation on like the nutrition, I just kind of estimated because I'm not too strict on, tracking the macro, aiming for an overall higher protein palette. So I'm using these olives that are actually from Meyer because I didn't know I actually already had olives in the house. So I just cracked that open and then split the whole can between the 4 bowls. And then I went in and added the Parmesan cheese as well to each of the bowls. I also didn't show this in the video because I went back in and did it later, but I also added 2 boiled eggs to each of the salads because, I love boiled eggs and I just wanted to use the carton for something. And since I wasn't having eggs for breakfast this week, I decided to do that for the salad. And then I just covered those up and placed them in the fridge while the chicken cooked. Alright, next I started working on the overnight oats, and to start I just added half of a cup of oats to each of the 4 jars that I had, which was a serving size. And then I went in with some almond milk. This is kind of a random fact about me, but if you guys didn't know, I'm actually studying nutrition right now, and I'm studying to be a certified nutrition coach as well as a certified personal trainer on top of my bachelor's in health and human kinetics. So if you guys have any questions about nutrition in the comments, please feel free to ask me and I will answer all of them that I see. And I just want to say, it probably doesn't look like I'm super like macro crazy or super like serious about nutrition, and I just want to make it clear that nutrition does not have to be something that's so particular and so strict. Honestly, there's so many factors that come into play with nutrition, and even though it's something that could be super tracked and that people take super seriously and spend a lot of time on each week, that's just not something that I want to do for my life. And I think it's cool that we can calculate the exact amount of calories we need week by week to hit these type of goals and this, but that's just not like the lifestyle that is going to be attainable or like exciting for me. Obviously, I do like tracking and making sure I'm hitting enough protein while at the same time not overeating, but everything I've learned from my college education and my certifications now, so many things are so subjective, including training and nutrition. As long as I'm prioritizing whole foods, prioritizing high protein, and not overeating, I'm honestly not going to be worried. And that's why I'm considering this like lazy girl meal prep, because it's way more lenient based on what I've been seeing these days about nutrition, especially within the gym community. So hopefully that whole Yap Fest made sense, but now back to the recipe. So I went in and used a cup of Greek yogurt in each of these, which is a lot of Greek yogurt, but like I said, I got it for the protein and also just wanted to use the whole jar in one day so that there wasn't like leftover sitting in the fridge. Again, my biggest tip if you do not like Greek yogurt is to add honey, add a little bit of sugar. There's no crime in that. Or another good way to sweeten it is adding peanut butter, because I also will add a little bit of protein as well. For this week, what I did for my Greek yogurt additions, I wanted it to be a little bit like fall themed. So I went ahead and added some cinnamon and some brown sugar. I didn't add a lot because I honestly didn't want it to be overly sweet. And that's just what I was feeling like, because some weeks I can't eat it unless it's like sweetened with honey. And then to top these off, I put some berries on the top. I feel like apples would have been the best thing to add to stick with the fall vibes, and it would have went good with the brown sugar and cinnamon, but I didn't have any apples. The apples I had, I tore them up because they were so good. So I just added the rest of the fruit I had in the fridge and freezer, which was blueberries, raspberries, and blackberry. And then one thing I did forget to add, which I add a little bit later on, is chia seeds. As a PSA, chia seeds should be soaked a little bit before you consume them. You shouldn't eat a lot of them like in their raw state, but I don't like when chia seeds are soaked for like days at a time, and this is meal prep, so I didn't mix it in. I just kind of let it sit at the top, and then before I eat them, I would stir them up and then let it soak for just like a few minutes is all it needs, and then start eating the overnight oats. By the time I was done with both of those, the chicken was ready, and I think I did a pretty good job at cooking the chicken. I honestly haven't cooked chicken too many times in the past before, especially not chicken breasts, and it was a tad bit like dry or like overcooked, but it honestly wasn't bad at all. And the main reason I purposefully kind of left it in the oven for a little bit longer is because I don't have a food thermometer thingy, and I know that you're supposed to cook chicken until an internal temperature of 165, and since I had no way of like really checking that, I just wanted to make sure it was fully done. I also didn't marinate the chicken because obviously I just bought it from ALDI right before I did this meal prep, but if you want your chicken to be more flavorful and more juicy, you should marinate it a few hours before, or at least a day before, or something like that. But you know, the juice that kind of comes out of the chicken when you cook it, I kind of just like dip them back in there for a little bit more of that flavor, and then I just added them to the salads. Alright, y'all, bear with me. This is the part of the meal prep that I started getting kind of tired. This was like 2 hours in, and it was time to start prepping for the dinner, which it was steak and sweet potato fries, as well as a side of broccoli. So here you see me peeling the sweet potatoes, and I've had these sweet potatoes for a little bit, so I'm glad I was able to use it in this week's meal prep. I'm just using this potato peeler, and then for the ends and any imperfections, I just use a regular knife. And then I didn't show seasoning the steak, but I just used like salt, pepper, paprika, a little bit of curry, and I don't know, I just threw some seasonings on it and put it in the oven for 375 for about 35 minutes. And I don't know, I've been cooking steaks a lot ever since living alone, and they've always turned out pretty good from baking them in the oven. So that's just always what I do. It's very easy and definitely not as daunting as I originally thought cooking steak would be. So for the sweet potatoes, I just cut them into like fry or wedge shapes, do the same type of seasonings on them, and then put them in the oven for 375. And I was kind of checking and adding time as these ones went. I'm pretty sure they took around 30 minutes to be done, and I also cooked them at the same time as the broccoli as well. So it was like, I don't really have specific times or seasonings for this last meal, but to make the complicated story less complicated, I cooked the steak for 30 minutes, and then at the same time I cooked the sweet potatoes and the broccoli on 375 for around 30 minutes, and that is kind of a long time to cook broccoli. I did add it a little bit later than the sweet potatoes, and for the seasonings on that, all I used was salt and a little bit of pepper. And then while that was cooking up, I started the cleaning process because I know that after almost 3 hours of meal prepping, I was not gonna want to leave my kitchen that dirty, and just cleaning the kitchen after cooking just makes you feel that extra amount of productive. So I just like washed everything I used, wiped down the countertops, and then also swept around where I was working at. And then literally when I was done cleaning, then that's when everything came out of the oven, and I just assembled that. By the way, all these bowls that I've been using are just like leftover containers and like takeout containers. So if you want to meal prep but you don't have like that aesthetic fancy Tupperware that a lot of these influencers have, that's okay. You really don't need that. I did try to make my setups as cohesive as possible. So as you can see here, I use like all black containers, but they're like different shapes and sizes from different places. Even the lids on some of them I had to like improvise, but I ain't got no shame about it, and there's really nothing wrong with it. I'm really glad I was able to meal prep this week, and thank you guys so much for watching this whole video. I really hope you were able to get a recipe idea or some type of inspiration from it. Like I said, comment down below any questions that you have for me, and I'll try to answer them. Well, I will answer them. I'll see you guys in my next video, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.